Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I am knitting. Not right now, but most of the time, and I have been knitting, so I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm coming to you from my craft room chair, purchased at Costco, wearing my new shirt, purchased at Costco. I'm a real Costco girly today. But all this to say, if you are a regular viewer of the podcast, you will know this is a different seat. Normally I'm seated a few feet away in my desk chair, and you, the camera, you living inside the camera at home, which is not really what's happening, but the camera is set up on my desk right in front of me, so I'm a little further away from the camera. You can see a little bit more of me. I hope that's okay. What a treat for you. Well, yes, I'm trying something else for my podcast because here's the thing. Once I got this craft room chair from Costco, which you'll notice, it rocks. Oh, this is basically a nursing chair, okay, folks? But I love it, despite the fact that I'm not nursing anyone or thing. Anyway, once I got this chair, I thought, wow, this is such a comfy chair. I don't want to sit in any other chair as long as I live. And how cute would this be as a place to film the podcast? But then I was like, I don't know. I just don't know if that would be, I don't know if that would be appropriate. But then I saw Jackie film her latest podcast episode in her new Flexi Spot chair, and she looks so comfy cozy. So I thought, I have no choice but to give it a go, to try filming the podcast in my new podcast or my new craft room chair. And also, tangentially, let me tell you something. When Jackie told me that she had a partnership with Flexi Spot and she showed me the chair, I was like, oh my God, I want this chair so badly. The Lotus that she has. Go check out her podcast and her video featuring this chair. It looks so immaculate and pristine. So I reached out to Flexi Spot and I was like, hey, I'd love to partner with you. I'd love to try this chair in my craft room. I followed up with them. They never got back to me. I must be dead to them. I don't know, whatever. So then when I saw this chair at Costco, I was like, fine, great, awesome. I'll get this chair since I never heard back from FlexiSpot. And this chair, I'm so glad I got it. But hey, FlexiSpot, if you ever want to chat, I do have a chair in my living room that I'd love to replace with the FlexiSpot Lotus. Anyway, the chair that Jackie's sitting in for her podcast, I want so badly. But I'm very happy with this chair that I got from Costco. And also, sorry I'm talking so much about the chair, but I just love it. Love this chair. A lot of you seem to be very interested in this chair, so I will link the Costco listing in the video description in case you want to check it out. There's charging ports on, this is not sponsored by the way. There's charging ports on the side. There is reclining capability. The headrest, not the armrest, the headrest moves as well. It's very, very nice. And there's lights at the bottom for like some ambient lighting. You know, if you're nursing in a dark room, which again, I am not. Anyway, there you go. Check this chair out at Costco or check the Flexi Spot Lotus chair out. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. It is bigger than this chair though, so it might have caused some problems for me to fit it in the craft room. But anyway, all that to say, I love my chair, and the reason I have my chair is because I was drooling over the chair that Jackie has from Flexi Spot. Why are we here? To talk about chairs? Not for this long. Oh, let me tell you one more thing about chairs, actually. The Flexi Spot, this is another reason I'm drooling over it. It has like a pocket on the side where you can put like remotes or books or your knitting project. This chair doesn't have that. I wish it did. Also, I wish that there was a pocket on this side specifically because there are charging ports. There's two charging ports, one for USB-A and USB-C. I think that's what they're called. That's what DJ refers to them as, and he's in IT, so, you know, he knows best. But, you know, the normal USB port and then the fancy updated one USB port. You know what I'm talking about? There's one for each of those on the side of this chair, but there's no pocket to put the cords in, so they just dangle like little idiots, looking so ugly in my beautifully curated space. That's my only gripe. Wish it had a pocket for the cords. But other than that, I just love this Costco chair. Costco's amazing. What a utopia. All right, so anyway, let's talk about knitting because this channel is called Rachel is Knitting, not Rachel is sitting in a chair, although I frequently sit in chairs. In fact, even more than I knit. I digress. So, this podcast episode is the 57th episode of my podcast series. So, if you're new here, I do a weekly podcast series most of the time. Sometimes I skip a week. I just can't be tamed, basically. But weekly, most of the time, I update you on what I've been making, whether that's knitting, crocheting, spinning, soon to be weaving, because I have a loom that Kromsky sent me, a rigid heddle loom that I need to figure out how to use, but it's been sitting, in fact, it's staring at me right now over here, uh, just staring me down saying, be brave, tackle this scary obstacle, round this learning curve, and I simply am not ready to. So I haven't warped the rigid heddle or, approached the learning process yet, but I will. So anyway, whatever I've been working on, thinking about, etc., I talk to you about on this podcast. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future podcast episodes. All right, so this episode covers my making from July 14th through yesterday, July 20th. And I have 3 projects to update you on. Okay, so the first is my ranunculus. And when I say sort of, it's basically referring to the ranunculus because last week I told you that I made it so the neckline did not fit over my head, and then I tried to fix it, and then I ruined it, and then I was going to frog it, to the shock and dismay of some of you. But here's the update. The ranunculus has been frogged, and it is ready to be begun again. This yarn is so beautiful. It's the colorway Skinny Dipping from the Little Wolf Knits. It's part of her Italia collection, which I believe is still open for pre-order. You can click the affiliate link in my bio if you're interested in this color or others inspired by her summer trip to Italy. Really, really beautiful colors, but I'm really, really invested in this like dark, stormy, blue-green petrol color lately. It just chokehold on me. I love it. It's so beautiful. I feel alive when I look at this color. So, therefore, I'm very excited to have a ranunculus in this color, but obviously it is not in garment form anymore. It will be soon. The good thing about the ranunculus, many of you already know this, is that it is knit on size US 10 needles with quite an open gauge depending on the yarn you use. So it knits up rather quickly. This also means, well, actually they're not connected, but another nice feature of the ranunculus, I say it every time I talk about it, you don't have to swatch. You do not have to swatch, my friends. This is a gift. This is a gift. A gift. Every single size starts the same. The only differences between sizes start, like the first time that happens is after you finish the circular yoke. The way the ranunculus is constructed is it is a combination of circular yoke and raglan increases. So you do the whole circular yoke. I need to talk a little slower so I stop tripping over my words. But you do those. And then once those are complete, you do the raglan increases, and in the raglan increases is where the differences between each size start to occur. So, essentially, your project is your swatch. There you go. So that's the update on the ranunculus, is that it has been frogged. And it actually took no time at all to frog it because I put it on my Kato electric yarn winder, which is just up there on top of my IKEA Calyx cubby shelves, and the Kato electric yarn winder did all the work, which I was very pleased about. Very, very pleased about. I don't have an affiliate link or discount code for the Kato electric yarn winder, but I know a lot of other content creators do, like Leslie of Knit California does. She should have a code that I don't know what it gets you, 10% or $10 or something like that off. So head over to her page to use that link if you're interested in the Kato electric yarn winder. I can't recommend it enough. It's awesome. Okay. Second project is my Doppio. This is another very large gauge project, or, well, again, depending. This is also knit on size 10 needles, and it has a lot of room for play. You can use a strand of worsted weight yarn with a strand of lace. You could use a strand of DK weight yarn with a strand of lace. You could use 2 or 3 strands of fingering with a strand of lace, or whatever combination gets gauge. Kind of a really fun way to mix and match yarn that you have in your collection, or yarn that you're purchasing. Like if you're going to a fiber festival, which I am soon, which I'll talk about shortly, spoiler alert, it's flock. Very excited. But you can play around, and like it's 3 skeins here, 3 skeins there, so it does all add up. But you might have 3 skeins of fingering weight in your stash that you don't know what to do with, and 3 skeins of lace weight, and then another 3 skeins of fingering weight, and you can hold those 9 skeins together to make a really beautiful garment. You might need less, you might need more, depending on the size you're making. I'm making, I want to say the size 6, but I might be misremembering that. It's either the size 5, 6, or 7. So that's super helpful. All the information is on my Ravelry project page, which is linked in the video description. But I'm going to use, I think, a little less than 3 skeins of each of my lace weight and my DK weight. So I'm making this doppio with 1 strand of DK weight yarn in the colorways The Stories That Really Mattered on the Dove DK base from Treehouse Knits. Now, this is a beautiful yarn. Beautiful. It is blue, it is green, it is purple, it is brown, it is dark, it is stormy, it is beautiful. And I just love it. And I've had a sweater quantity in my stash for almost 2 years at this point, and the initial plans that I had for it didn't pan out. So I have just been holding on to my skeins of The Stories That Really Mattered on Dove DK. Some of them were gifted, some of them I purchased, waiting for the perfect project. And you know, when you have skeins in your stash, or your collection, I should say, that are just like so beautiful in skein form and so precious and so momentous that you kind of feel unable to use it because you don't want to do it a disservice. You don't want to do it an injustice by using it in a project that you won't love or that won't look good. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you love the yarn in skein form. You would love it worked up, but you just don't know what the right project for it is. That was my dilemma with this yarn. So I am pairing it with this dark green. It's called Green Number 2 from Sam of Clockwork Fiber Co. And I think that the fabric these two create is so gorgeous. Now, if you watched last week's podcast episode, you may remember that I think, like everyone thinks their doppio is the best doppio, but really to other people it's just another doppio. So I'm giving you permission to think this is just another doppio, but to me, this is a fantastically beautiful fabric. It's like dark green, but mosaic, but variegated, but oh my goodness, it's like a kaleidoscope of wool and amazingness and squish and beauty. And like, this sweater has never made anyone cry. This sweater has never had a misunderstanding with a friend. This sweater like doesn't send you a Venmo request for $2.50. They just like eat it. This sweater is so nice and perfect. Okay, so anyway, all this to say about my Just Another Doppio, which I think is the best doppio, but you may think is just another doppio, which is fine. I finished the sleeves, sleeve 1, sleeve 2, and I am now on the body ribbing. I am very excited about this. I will definitely finish this week, and by definitely, I mean maybe, probably, because like, what do I have? 10, 11 rounds of ribbing left? You could definitely do that in a day, but will I do that? That is the question. We don't know yet. We'll find out together next week. But I would love to have this done so I can show you what it looks like tried on. I will tell you now, I'm not going to try it on for this podcast, but I will tell you, and you'll just have to take my word for it, and then you can see if your trust was smartly placed when I show you the finished object. There's quite a lot of extra fabric on the underarm when I wear this. The underarms go pretty deep, and that creates kind of like a bulge on either side of my armpits or my arms, my underarms, when I try it on, which is kind of obnoxious to me, but also life. So it's a balancing act of like, so what, who cares? And I wish I had done that differently. So I think that I thought this also with my first Doppio, but obviously I didn't pivot with this version, and I think it will still look fine. Like, it will be kind of an oversized look and it will work. It will be fine. But if I were to make this like perfectly intentionally to fit every roll and crevasse of my body, I would do that differently. But I want this to be oversized, just maybe not with such a deep armhole. I don't know. I don't know. We'll examine this together after it is a finished object. But we're in the home stretch. I am hoping that I won't have to wind another skein of the DK weight. I know for sure I won't have to wind another skein of the lace weight. In fact, I can't because this is the last one. So let's be serious about that. But that's more than enough. Oh boy, that's way more than enough to finish the ribbing and the sewn bind off. So there's the update on my Doppio. And I have one more project to update you on. I hope you'll be very happy to see it. Let me go grab it. Behold, it's a bird. I'm back to carving this wooden bird. It looks so different from the side versus the front. And then here's the side, and here's the bottom. So DJ has really gotten into the whittling. He has purchased a few different whittling knives, in addition to the knives that come in the little bird carving kit that we each bought. To catch you up, basically, or jog your memory, our 5th wedding anniversary is this week. It's this Friday, actually. And the traditional gift for the 5th anniversary is wood. And we don't need any furniture necessarily. There's like, we just got a new set of wooden spoons. So DJ had the idea. I know there are more things that are wooden in the world, but anyway, DJ got the idea that we could carve birds for each other. Well, actually, his idea was to carve a bird for me. And then I was like, no way, you're not going to carve a bird for me and make me something and me not make you something. So I'm going to carve a bird too. So we're both carving birds. It will shock no one to know that his bird is way further along than mine. So I need to get it in gear, but I did a fair bit this weekend on this bird. Like, I got a lot of the back shaved down and a lot of the bottom part shaved down, and I even, look at the shaping around the beak. I must say, that's amazing. So I've got to do a little bit on this every day this week. I can't procrastinate like I did last week or the week before. I have to get this done because Friday is the deadline. Okay, there's no flexibility. We were married on the 25th of July in 2020. So therefore, the 25th of July in 2025 is the anniversary. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I am very happy with this bird progress, and I will continue to make progress this week. So next week, this better be a beautifully finished bird. And if it's not, you can tell me how disappointed you are. But no one ever takes me up on those offers when I say, like, if this isn't done by next week, can you give me a kick in the pants? No one ever kicks me in the pants. You're all too nice. You need to toughen up a little bit and tell me, Rachel, carve that dang bird. Okay? But hopefully you won't have to, because I'll have this done and given to DJ for our anniversary. I'm so excited for our anniversary. We're going to go eat steak. It's going to be so delicious and so fancy, and I'm going to feel so full after. I just simply can't wait to celebrate 5 years with the man I love so much. All right, that's enough sap. We've got the ranunculus, we've got the Doppio, we've got the bird. I do believe those are the only 3 projects that I have for project updates, but I will tell you that I wish I had more because I was fighting cast on demons this week. I will tell you the truth, I was. I wanted to cast on a scarf. I wanted to cast on a new sweater. I wanted to cast on a Highland cow. I wanted to do it all. I did. But I didn't. I held fast. I don't know why. There's no reason. Like, I don't think there's any moral judgment on having a lot of projects on your needles versus only one project on your needles at a time. Like, you have to do whatever works for you. But knowing myself, it does stress me out eventually when I have a lot of projects that I've accumulated because it makes it hard to make progress on any of them. But it just comes in waves. Like sometimes I want to have so many different projects on my needles. Sometimes I only want to have one project on my needles. And last year I had a period of time, or maybe it was earlier this year, I don't know, time isn't real. But at a certain point in my past, in my nebulous past, I was a monogamous knitter for a stretch. And that was really satisfying and very gratifying because I could finish projects really quickly because they had my full and undivided attention. But then my maturity went out the window and my little rat brain took over, and I needed to follow whatever desire I had at any given moment. And usually that meant casting on something new every 5 minutes. That's an exaggeration, but you get the idea. So I don't know where I am right now. Like, I have the desire to cast on, but I also have the foresight to know future Rachel is going to be really perturbed at you if you give in to those demons. So we'll see what happens. I may have a million cast-ons next week. I may not. I don't know. I cannot tell you. I can't see the future, except sometimes, but not on this. Okay? So that's it for project updates. Now let's go to Spin Diary. So, oh, I've got a lot for Spin Diary. You're really in for a treat. It's Tour de Fleece, if you don't know, which is a time of year that coincides with Tour de France, when all those people are, pedaling to the medaling, and they are working so hard on those bicycles. They're going up hills, they're going down hills. I don't know anything about Tour de France. I'm just assuming this is all true. Around twists and turns, falling off, scraping their knees, so sad. So, in lieu of Tour de France, there's Tour de Fleece, which is basically you spin yarn, you spin your wool or whatever fiber you have. And I think there are schedules, like certain days are challenge days. I don't know what that means. I don't care to learn. I've learned enough in my life. So I don't know what that is. If you know, you can let us know in the comments, but I don't know, so I can't tell you. Anyway, I've been using this period of time as motivation to spin and to have fun spinning. So I've been spinning quite a lot over the course of this last week. So let me show you what I have spun. The first thing that I spun this week was a braid of Clockwork Fiber Co. analog fiber. This is called analog number 6. And actually, let me grab the other braid I have because I purchased 2 braids of this colorway. And so you can see what it looks like in fiber form versus yarn form. Okay, here we are. We have the skein of yarn, and then we have the braid of fiber. So hopefully you can see how these two correlate to one another. Obviously, they're not one for one. The way the color translates is different in fiber form versus when it is spun up into yarn. But I'm super, super happy with this skein of analog fiber now turned into yarn. If you're not familiar, analog is the name that Sam uses for her line of Shanico wool. Oh my gosh, if you haven't worked with Shanico wool, whether in fiber form or yarn form, you are severely missing out. I cannot stress this to you enough. So Shanico is a breed of sheep, and it's a cross between merino sheep and Rambouillet sheep. The result is just the most dreamy yarn or fiber that I've ever worked with. It is so soft, but it's also smooth while simultaneously being structured and grippy. It's difficult to describe, but it's just fabulous. I love working with it. I have a lot of Shanico yarn from Sam. I made my Felix cardigan in it. I have started another Felix cardigan in it, which was abandoned, but will be reapproached with a different lace weight I'm holding with it. I've made my Gredder pullover with it. Oh my goodness, it's just beautiful, beautiful yarn to work with. And the fiber is chef's kiss pristine. So this yarn that I made from Shanico wool, I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I think it would be just gorgeous as color work on a sweater, like the contrast color in a colorwork yoke sweater. But here's the thing. After I finished spinning this, I knew in my heart the responsible thing would be to spin the second braid that I had and to do it in a similar fashion while I was still in that, spin zone, so I could get two skeins that were similar. I think I can still get a similar skein to this when I spin this braid of fiber, but it's like putting a project down that you're knitting and then picking up later. How do you know your gauge hasn't changed? How do you know the circumstances are impacting how you're knitting to make a discrepancy between when you were sitting down earlier versus when you pick it up now, a while later, months or years later? So I don't think it's going to take me months or years to spin this braid into fiber, but even though I knew that was the responsible thing to do, I just didn't want to. And since my goal for Tour de Fleece is to have fun, I gave myself permission to be irresponsible. So I'll do this again, but I just didn't want to spin two braids of the same color in a row. I wanted to give my brain some more enrichment in the form of variety and diversity of what I was spinning. So I put that on upside down. So I spun something else after I spun this, and that was this. This is from a braid of Corriedale fiber that I purchased at For the Love of Yarn, which is a local yarn store I visited in Glasgow. And this was my first really in-depth fractal spin. I prepped the fiber in such a way so that one of the plies would have quick color repeats, so a short period of pink and then a short period of blue and a short period of yellow, so on and so forth. And then the other ply would have long color repeats, so a long stretch of pink and then a long stretch of blue and then a long stretch of yellow all the way through. So that means the plies have differences in how long the color repeats are. Okay, so I'm realizing that one con of sitting here far away from the camera is I have to lean so far forward to show you the close-ups, and even then maybe the camera won't focus. So I'll troubleshoot that for next time. But this was an enjoyable braid to spin, but I did have some issues. For instance, I found that drafting was really difficult, so I steamed the fiber after I split it up, and that seemed to really, really, really help. So that was one obstacle I overcame. And then another obstacle that I haven't really overcome yet is that this bled a lot of color. When I was spinning it, a lot of the blue dye transferred to my hands, like a lot of it. And then when I washed this yarn, the color of the water afterwards was bright blue, and since I noticed the blue transferring to my hands when I was spinning, when I did wash it, I added 2 color catching sheets, and still, even despite that, the water was just so vibrant blue. So a lot of dye came out of this yarn, out of this fiber, and you can even see on the yarn ties that I used for this skein, those were white yarn when I tied them, and then after the bath that I had the finished skein in, these are now light blue yarn ties. So that's kind of disappointing, and it makes it so I don't really want to knit this. Like I don't want to make a hat, for instance, and then wear the hat and then take the hat off and have a blue forehead. Or I don't want to make a scarf and have a blue neck. So I'm not really sure what I'll do with this. In the past, I've had this problem with certain yarn. And it was so bad and so severe to the point where I just threw the yarn away. Like it was unusable. I didn't feel comfortable gifting the item I was making. I didn't feel comfortable keeping the item I was making and having dye transfer wherever I set it down. I was making a whale stuffed animal. So that was totally offloaded out of my house and gotten rid of. I don't want to do that with this because this isn't just another skein of yarn. This is a skein that I made. So it may just end up being like a display skein that I look at. Yeah, but that's kind of disappointing. So if you have any suggestions of what you would do with a skein of yarn that transfers dye really, really easily, in large amounts, so it's not really usable as is. Like, let me know what you would do. I've also thought maybe I could weave with it, but I mean, ultimately that still has the same problem of whatever the finished object touches, I don't want blue dye to transfer onto it. So yeah, but I did spin this. I did enjoy the spin aside from the color bleeding. And then after, for the love of yarn, I think one of these dropped. Here it is. I spun my Shetland sampler pack. So when I went to the Shetland Islands for a knitting tour last July, I purchased a 5-pound bag of sample fiber. They were like 20 grams each of Shetland wool in all the natural Shetland colors. So there's 5 colors here, and these are all undyed. So this came from a sheep with this color wool. This came from a sheep with this color wool, etc., etc. So let's see if I can get this in color order. Really, one of these just messes up the whole fade. It's that middle brown one. Like, where do you even put that? Oh, what am I doing with the white against the darkest? That's not correct, Rachel. Okay, so here's a sampler pack. Isn't that so cute? So these are like little 25-gram-ish skeins of yarn, all Shetland wool, all 2-ply, and I just loved them. And if you watched my Tour de Fleece welcome video where I went through my collection of fiber, you may remember that I have a whole kilogram of Shetland wool, and it's in this color, or closest to this color. It's like a dark, dark brown, like a charcoaly, sooty brown. Oh, it's gorgeous. But I was thinking for Tour de Fleece at one point, wouldn't it be fun to spin up my sweater quantity of Shetland wool fiber and like have that to show at the end of Tour de Fleece? But then I thought, no, that's going to be so boring. Bore me to death spinning one color for 3 weeks. Ugh, no, I can't do that. But when I sat down to spin these, this was the juiciest, most, it was like spinning, I don't know. I think the lanolin is still in this wool. So it was like spinning with hand cream, like wool that was hand cream. It was fabulous. It was so smooth. It drafted beautifully. I didn't have to do any pre-drafting. What I did was I split each color in 2. I weighed it. Thank you for the suggestion in the comments to start weighing my fiber when I split it up. I weighed it on my kitchen scale that I use in the craft room. So really it's my craft room scale, and made sure the 2 sections were even, or as even as I could get them. And then I spun half, and then I spun the other half, and then I applied them together. So what was the point of telling you that? I don't remember. But I just loved spinning these. It was so meditative. It was so smooth. It was so beautiful. Oh, I told you that because I didn't do any pre-drafting except splitting them in 2. Anyway, that's what I did. And I loved it. And now I have a cute little mini skein set of Shetland wool. That's all the spinning that I did so far this week, or this last week. I am going to spin tonight during Bachelor in Paradise, and here is the braid I have selected. I'm going to be spinning my braid from Camry of Golden Hour Knitwear. This is a Peruvian wool top braid that she gifted me last year for Tour de Fleece, and I didn't get to it, but I'm determined to get to it this year, so I'm excited to work on this. I haven't spun Peruvian wool top before, so it will be a nice new experience, and I'm very much looking forward to it. But that's all for Spin Diary, so let's move next to acquisitions. I have some fun acquisitions. I'm not going to show you all of them because one of them is a shirt and it's in the wash, and others are secrets. So I'll just give you like a brief overview. So the first acquisition that I got was my order from Harriet of Wildwood Stitches. So let me take my project out of here. This bag was the one that got away. When I was in Scotland on the second knitting tour, there was a pop-up shop with Black Isle yarns and Wildwood stitches, and I purchased a project bag from Harriet of Wildwood stitches, and I also purchased like a little notions bag. She also had these large sweater bags with these leather handles. They're just beautiful. The fabric she chose, so cute. These are Highland cows and thistles, and then the bottom portion of the bag is Harris tweed, so it's very luxe, very nice. So I didn't get the sweater bag at the pop-up shop because I thought, the project bag will hold me over, the notions pouch will hold me over. I don't need a project bag. But after that, I had whatever the opposite of buyer's remorse is. I had like non-buyer's regret. I really wished that I had gotten this, and it kept bugging me. So then after I got home, I had started following Harriet on Instagram, and she posted that she had these bags available on her website. So I ran to her website, and I got the sweater bag. And also I got another notions pouch to put in the sweater bag so I could have a notions pouch dedicated to the sweater bag. Look how big it is. Huge. So gorgeous. So I've been keeping my Yorlin, which has been in timeout for many, many weeks at this point. I've been keeping my Yorlin in there. So I'm very excited about that acquisition. Came all the way to me from Scotland. And then the next acquisition is another exceptional bag. This is my Flock Fiberfest tote bag. This is absolutely massive. Just ginormous. Look at this. I'm so excited about it. So I will be toting this around at Flock. It has a nice big pocket inside as well. So this will kind of be my shopping bag. And I love the logo too. So Leslie just sung the praises of the Flock tote bag last year. I didn't go to Flock last year, and I had severe FOMO. So this year I'm very, very excited. And this bag is perfect. Now also, this wristlet I added on. This is from Chris and Krista of Barley Pearls. You may remember that I had a giveaway with them a little while ago. But on their Etsy shop, they have wristlets that you can buy that are measuring tape wristlets. How genius is that? So when they sent me a few bags earlier in the summer, they also sent me a few extra wristlets, and I didn't have anywhere to put them yet. But then my Flock bags came, and this is the perfect match because the cream color of the measuring tape portion pretty perfectly matches the canvas tote bag, and then the black border matches the handles. So I was extremely pleased about that. And then also in my Flock swag, I got a project bag, which is an amazing size. It has been housing my Doppio, and it fits perfectly, and that's a pretty bulky project. And so the other wristlet that I had from Chris and Krista, which is just cream without a black border, goes perfectly with my Flock project bag. So it was really meant to be. These wristlets were sitting on my desk waiting to be called into service, and then the Flock swag arrived, and it was the perfect fit. Now, here's something I want to tell you about. During knit night last week, Leslie and I were talking about our Flock swag, and we realized that hundreds, if not thousands of other people are going to have bags just like ours. And what if we set it down and someone grabs our bag mistakenly, and we grab someone else's bag mistakenly, and then we don't have our treasures, we have someone else's treasures, which are definitely going to be amazing, but they're not going to be the treasures we picked and like our own wallets and stuff. So we want to make our bags distinct. So I came up with the idea of knitting a rat keychain for mine, and Leslie found a little teddy bear pattern to put on hers. So we're going to have like little basically homemade Labubus for our Flock bags, and if you want to do that too, just don't make a rat exactly like mine because that defeats the purpose. If you make a rat, make it unique and to you. I don't know what yarn I'm going to use yet, but I'm thinking probably fingering weight, although these bags are so big that I feel like using a DK weight pattern. I mean, this is too big of a charm. This that wouldn't work. Miss Tularosa Esquire's too large for a Flock bag charm. But yeah, gonna make a little rat keychain to put on my bag so it is distinguishable from all the other amazing people at Flock, because I want to make sure that I come home with my treasures and my ID and my important things, and not yours. You should keep yours and I should keep mine. So if you want to join me and Leslie in making a charm for your bag, you should. And let me know. And then we can take a cute picture together at Flock with all of our sweet little homemade Labubus that aren't actually Labubus, just the concept of Labubus being a creepy little thing that you stick on your bag, a creepy cute little thing, I should say, and it makes you feel happy whenever you look at it. So there, that is the thought. And what else for acquisitions? Oh, I won't show you any of these things because, like I said, they're kind of secret. But basically, I've been accumulating little treats for knitting tour goodie bags for my knitting tours that I go on, that I host, that I lead. So just like little cute little things that are representative of the place we're going. So some cute little things for Ireland, some cute little things for Scotland, some cute little things for Denmark. And that's really exciting. So you can, I don't know, stay tuned for that, whether you're going on a trip or you watch the recaps. Thus ends the acquisition section of the podcast, which leads me to announcements. And actually, the last acquisition I listed is a good segue. The first announcement that I have is that if you are a vendor or a small business or somewhere in our, related fields, whether you're a yarn dyer or you make stitch markers or you make wool wash or soap or just something, somewhere you have, if you would like to be featured in the goodie bags for these trips, I would love to work with you, love to partner with you, love to feature your products to get more eyes on what you offer. So if you're interested in that, I've added a Google form to the video description. Please absolutely reach out and we can get in touch, talk about it, and yeah. So that's really exciting. The goodie bags are coming together, and there's always room for more treats. So if you want to participate and have some treats for the goodie bags, basically you have 25 to 30 new eyes on your product, plus all of the people when I share on the channel the recaps of the trip. So if that's of interest to you, check out the video description. The second announcement is basically a space rundown of the spaces left on the 2026 trips. Okay, we'll go through these one by one. So for the Knit the Wild Atlantic Way tour, that takes place from May 11th through 20th. It starts in Dublin. We go up through Northern Ireland. We visit Giant's Causeway. We see working sheep farms. We have needle felting classes. We have knitting classes. There's spinning. There's weaving. There's yarn dyeing demonstrations. There's something for everyone. We have 5 spaces left on that trip, and they can be knitters or non-knitters, whatever you want. And then for the Copenhagen trip from September 1st through 8th, there's room for one more non-knitter. So you may be thinking, why in the world would I go as a non-knitter? Well, I think this trip in particular really is advantageous for anyone to go to, whether they go as a knitting participant or a non-knitting participant. The long and short of it is, a non-knitting participant, it doesn't mean you can't know how to knit in real life, but you're on the trip as a non-knitting participant. You participate in everything with the group except the knitting workshops. You also receive a €200 discount. So what that means, particularly Copenhagen, why I think this is appealing, there are over 30 yarn stores in Copenhagen. So you would still go on the 6 yarn tour visits that we have scheduled into the itinerary, but during the knitting workshops, when you are free to do whatever you want, you could take that time to explore Copenhagen, to go to a yarn store that's not on the itinerary, and really get the most of the city. So you wouldn't participate in the workshops, but you'd still go to the alpaca farm. You could still join us for the day trip to Sweden. You'd still go to all the scheduled yarn store visits, and then you'd have additional free time to do whatever you wanted, whether that is walk around the city, sit and knit in the hotel, explore new yarn stores, whatever you want, it's up to you. So room for one non-knitting participant on the Copenhagen trip from September 1st through 8th. The final trip of 2026 that has space available is the 4th annual Irish Knitting Tour. This trip, I don't want to pick favorites, but this is my favorite trip because it's so special to me. This will be the 4th time that I've done it. That should say something. It's that special to do it 4 times and not get sick of it. We have 14 spaces available on that, up to 11 knitters. So we have room for up to 29 people, but only 25 knitters, so you can do the math. It's an amazing trip. We have a needle felting experience. We stay at beautiful hotels, including 2 nights at Lyrith Estate Hotel, which is a 5-star hotel in Killarney, or Kilkenny, excuse me. It's gorgeous. There's a vining plant on the facade of the hotel, which used to be a manor house, and it's like so autumnal. It's bright red. It's so gorgeous. We're also going to Nicholas Moss Pottery and have a tour of the pottery studio. They have a whole line of fuchsia pottery, which is absolutely my favorite, but there's lots of other things to choose from, different motifs that they have on their pottery. We go to Zwartbles Sheep Farm. We go to Cushendale and Kerry Woolen Mills, the last 2 vertical mills in Ireland, meaning they do everything from dyeing the yarn to processing the yarn to weaving the yarn to spinning the yarn. They do everything in-house, and they're a multi-generational family-owned business, so both are very, very special places to see and to visit. We stay at the Lake Hotel, which is on a lakefront property. You can walk up to the lake. You can explore castle ruins on the property and look at them while you eat breakfast. It's like a really big deal, okay? So that trip has the most room available. That's your best bet to get a space as well as have a friend come with you, your knitting circle, your spouse, or whatever, your significant other, family member. People have come with their moms, with their sisters, with their friends, with their partners. DJ has come on trips before, so you don't have to feel like you can't bring your partner if they don't knit. Everyone is welcome, and there's room for you. So that's the space update on the 2026 tours. I think I have one more announcement. Oh yeah, Flock. I'm going to Flock, which you already know based on my acquisitions section. I'm really, really excited for Flock. Leslie tells me that it's like walking into Instagram and you get to see all your friends from the internet in real life. So I'm really, really excited. But also, does anyone else have this like nagging feeling in their heart that, you know, what if people are disappointed in me? What if people who follow me online and like me online and support me online see me in person and they're like, what a troll of a person, disgusting. I don't want to talk to her ever again. Oh my goodness, I think that's an irrational fear now that I say it out loud, but all the same, it's a fear I have. So I just want you to know I'm being so brave by going to Flock. I'm so, so excited, but I'm also being so brave. And this would be true whether or not I, posted on the internet, whether or not I had an Instagram or YouTube channel. I would be nervous going to Flock. So I'm putting on my big brave girl pants, and I'm excited to see you if you're at Flock. Don't be afraid to say hello. Just know that I am just weird. Okay, anyway, that's it. That's it. That's all I have to say for episode 57 of my weekly podcast. What else is there? I don't believe anything other than to say, I hope you're doing well. I hope whatever you're working on is bringing you immense joy, the most joy that you've ever felt. Well, maybe not. Like, there are more important things. Like, maybe you've had a birth of a child or your marriage or whatever. All this to say, I'm hoping you're happy with whatever project you're working on. And if it's not bringing you joy, put it down, set it aside, work on something else. You are allowed to enjoy yourself. So please do so in the hobby that you do for enjoyment, as do I. This is a reminder to myself as well. But yeah, hope you're doing well, hope you're safe, hope you're happy, and if not, I hope that you will be soon. So that's all for now. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next upload. Last but not least, head over to Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok and follow me at Rachel is Knitting if you don't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.